Hey everybody, my name is Ty. I'm a licensed massage therapist. Hey, I work on a lot of CrossFit athletes. Now I'm gonna break this up into two different videos. I'm gonna do the upper body, which will be the shoulders mostly, the lower back, and the knees. That's where you're gonna see the pain spots in the lower body. Okay, so let's do this. For the majority of my CrossFit clients, I find that the shoulders are kind of pinned forward, and so I'm gonna start here in the front. This comes from all of that shoulder work that happens with practically every move in CrossFit, and it's just hard to keep them stretched out. So sometimes I'll start here. Sometimes if I start on the back, I can often see that this is occurring, and you can see how the ridge of her scapula is pinned down. There's not much of a ridge there. Even though her muscles are pretty prominent, I can feel a stiffness and immobility in that shoulder blade. And so I know that the shoulders in the front of the body are pulling it forward. Relaxing the anterior muscles in the front of the body is key to helping the athlete regain the range of motion needed to hold snatches and to do pull-ups. Now, even if they experience pain in the traps and the muscles in the back, the tightness will usually be found in the front. I am starting with some light fascial stretching by pinning the top layers of tissue, and then I'm stretching the arm out and away. It almost feels like pushing a piece of paper across a table. With all of the outer tissue warm, I'm going to start approaching one of the typical adhesion spots, and that is Pec Minor. Keeping this hidden but crucial muscle healthy and flexible could be the difference between developing a shoulder problem and not. When it's causing problems, it can actually twist, and it will feel like a thick rope under that top pec muscle. And I know she's feeling this right now. Active release works here so quickly, and they can feel that relief pretty fast. She has relatively healthy shoulders, but this spot is usually tight in most CrossFit athletes. Then I will switch over and I'm going to work on Pec Major with the same active release technique. I try to encourage them to reach up as high as their arm will allow. This is so effective and can really increase their range of motion in even one session. The next muscle is the Subscapularis, and it's a fun one. If the shoulder range of motion has been a problem, this is usually the culprit. I like to warm the muscle first by pinning and stretching, and then I will continue to allow them to move the arm for me. When subscapularis is stuck, the fascial adhesions feel like balls of Play-Doh sitting on top of that broad scapula, and it will usually hurt like a mother too. This can be very intense, so I try to do it in layers and start kind of lighter. But it can also be resolved relatively quickly with this motion. This muscle attaches to the front of the shoulder, and along with the pec muscles can give that I never miss chest day look with those forward hunched shoulders. Now, the bicep usually surprises people. It can be a huge cause of anterior or front of the shoulder pain, but people rarely guess that this muscle is involved. Pain is usually felt in the insertion points, which feels like a rotator cuff injury or just general shoulder pain. So it's usually surprising after bicep therapy that the shoulder feels much better. Now, if you are new to this channel, let me introduce you to Gua Sha. This is my secret weapon for finishing off any injury. I have so many videos on this subject that show how to do this, but in a nutshell, it will break up all those tight fascial adhesions and stop the injuries in the area from going right back to where it was after they step out your door. If you want to learn to do this on yourself or someone else, you really need to check out my new course in the description that will change your life. but I use it in most of my massages because it's so effective. On a CrossFit athlete, I will usually do Gua Sha in the bicep as well as the chest. I'm really just demonstrating on Jessica. Hers actually doesn't need it, but normally it is extremely sandy and rough feeling from dehydrated fascia. On the chest, Gua Sha will make a huge difference. Now to finish off the shoulder, I will make sure to do a little more releasing in the pec. The deltoid and the pec, so that shoulder muscle and the chest muscle, kind of get glued together right here. And this is a great way to separate them. Now you can start to address the top of the traps here. We want to elongate this space because it tends to become overly tight from that overhead bar work, and so this will really feel yummy. Onto a side lying position, I will focus on the lats and teres major that attach to the back of the shoulder. There are also two muscles that can pull the scapula forward and prevent and limit its range of motion. This is a great way to elongate the lat and also gives an extremely convenient angle to access some of the other anterior muscles. Like I like to spend some time separating pec major and pec minor here. I will typically omit a pillow while I'm working on this section of the body, not because I want them to be uncomfortable, but I like to have this nice stretch to work the neck and the supraspinatus. After warming up the back, I will spend some time working through the traps and the rhomboids that are usually tight pain spots on most of the population. But when that shoulder is pulled forward, these muscles get overworked. I use a really slow, methodical Rolfing style, and it just takes too long to watch here. But I do pin and stretch the fascia with my elbow. And you can check out my deep tissue massage for the back, and I'm gonna link to the video above. And also, I will usually add Gua Sha down the back here, and it looks like this when I do. This area is stuck on everybody, but it will especially relieve pain on a CrossFit athlete just because this is typically where they will be feeling the pain. The red areas indicate stagnation or where fascia is stuck on Jessica. When this fascia is stuck, it can actually cause an overall feeling of fatigue. So it's not a small thing, and I've often get the comment that after I do Gua Sha and the athlete goes back to work out, that they had a lot more energy in their workout. Now, if the athlete is experiencing a lot of elbow pain when trying to lock out in a lift, it can usually be attributed to a tight tricep. A few strokes down this muscle will really make a difference with active release. And again, the slow, methodical work, it just requires patience. And I'm not going to show it all here. I love to end with the same elongating strokes to upper trap, and it is so needed. Using a stacked hand will allow me to relax in this position and just wait for that muscle to soften. So make sure you stay tuned for the CrossFit leg massage next week, and here's some fun upper body Thai massage stretches to end on. We'll see you in the next one.